Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us for our special presentation of our shorts program, Missed Connections. I'm so excited to be here with many members of casts and crews of the films that you have just seen, and I would love to give these filmmakers a chance to introduce themselves to you.
Hi, I'm Morgan, they and he, and I play Frankie in the short film Frankie.
Hi, I'm James Couts. My pronouns are he, him, and I'm the writer-director of Frankie.
Hey, I'm Joey Massa. I'm the writer-director of Talk Soon.
Hi, my name is Ria, and I'm the director of A Voicemail to Try and Make You Feel Better.
Hi, I'm Yvonne, and I played Aaron in A Voicemail to Try and Make You Feel Better.
Hey, I'm Mary Glenn, or MG, and I was an editor on Talk Soon.
Hi, my name is Mike, and I was the DP on A Voicemail to Try and Make You Feel Better.
Shay, I'm the writer-director of Duet.
Hi, my name is Ariel, and I'm the producer of While We Stayed Home.
Hey, my name is Luis Carrazzo, and I played Angel in Of Hearts and Castles.
Is it me? My name is Tone, and I'm the director and co-writer on Baby Dyke, and my pronouns are she, her.
Hello, my name is Ruben Navarro, and I am the writer and director of Hearts and Castles.
Hi, I'm Gil. I'm the director of While We Stayed Home.
Hi, I'm Mai, and I'm the DP of While We Stayed at Home.
Wonderful. Absolutely nailed the Zoom choreography there, and will continue to, I am sure. Welcome to you all, and thanks again for joining us to talk a little bit more about these wonderful short films. The first question I'm going to ask is sort of why you feel like your project landed in Missed Connections. How does that speak to the work that you put on, and what does that kind of mean in the context of your short?
Oh boy, do you want to take this or should I?
Well, I feel like specifically for Frankie, it's not until kind of closer to the end that you kind of realize, spoiler alert, that Frankie and their ex-partner are in the same room. And it's kind of a bittersweet story about two people who don't end up together, but it's because they're healing.
And maybe seeing each other for the first time in their authentic ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, and you executed that turn so beautifully. It was a really powerful moment. Joe?
Yeah, I think for Talk Soon, the film looks at the relationship of two people who clearly were in a relationship, and then there was some sort of like move. One of them moved away and has come back to the space that they once kind of occupied together. And they're trying to like get on the same footing or like get back to that place over the course of the short, which is taking place over one night that they're together again. And yeah, it's like that sense of longing to go back to what things had been like, but they just can't get there, I guess. Sorry.
It breaks one's heart. Luckily, our audience has just seen all your wonderful films, so they know exactly what you're talking about, and their hearts are broken along with ours. Over to the voicemail team.
Yeah, I think that Voicemail to Try and Make You Feel Better, I feel like it fits in the Missed Connections in this way of it's like more of a like connection that they like miss from each other a lot of the time. And I think that you're like finding them in this place where they're like trying to be separate, you know, but they're just finding that they like miss their energy that they have when they're together. And it's kind of like this feeling where they recognize that.
I feel like everybody's been there where a relationship had been destroyed or created because of something that was said or something that was not said. or even like, you know, upon reflection where someone has said, like, believes like, hey, I wish I had said this, or I wish I had not said this. And I feel like that's a universal experience.
Yeah, I think Joey really hit the nail on the head. I think hope maybe other people can relate that like after a breakup, you maybe because we're so much more increasingly connected like via digital landscapes now, but like you still come across the person that you loved a lot, but like it's this that desire for when you do see each other in the present for this thing in the past that is like memory and maybe false and maybe like you like are projecting onto it, but like just this desire to like grab something that if it was ever there isn't there anymore.
So well said. Mike?
I liked what Maria said, so I'll go with her.
That's
her,
awesome. Yes, and you captured it. You captured it.
I did.
Very well.
I captured it.
Awesome.
It's so fascinating and mysterious to hear everybody's plot without seeing the film, because it sounds like everybody just wrote the same story as what I've written, and it's great. So Duet is also about two people who are not able to continue a thing together, but there is a connection, and the connection is worth memorizing. Yeah, I'm excited to hear the other story as well.
I really want to give the opportunity to Gil, the director, to say what he thinks, but I just want to say that in our movie, it's all about the missed connection in the Corona time, the time that we all really felt like we need to go away from people and just see people and say, go away from me, I don't want to have any connection with you, because we are scared to have any connection with someone that we don't know. And this is just capture this feeling of trying to stay as far as we can from other people that maybe in other times we could have a good connection with.
I too am I'm gonna try not to say too much because I want Ruben, who's the writer director, to like answer this, but I'm before you in the lineup. But in Of Hearts and Castles, I think I can say that in some ways I can see what happens between Angel and Marcus as a misconnection, but in a lot of ways it's very much not a misconnection. It's very much caught, and there's an exchange between the two of them that happens at the right time in the right place. But maybe there's an element of that's missed in there as well. And that's where I'm going to stop talking and let Ruben do the rest of the work.
Yeah.
When it gets to you.
Yeah. For me, I think I'm very impressed with the categorization. I feel like it's the first time it's been categorized in a short film. We were just at a festival in France, I think, where it was categorized as film about smartphones. And I was like, this does not fit the film at all. But I think the Baby Dyke is only about missed connections. It's like missed connections in a sibling dynamic where one thinks that she knows what's best for the little sister, and it's definitely a missed connection in the main character trying to find her ex at a party and think she has to live up to this adult role and this certain kind of like tough queer masculinity, being hard and like not sensitive and just getting over it. And it's also about bullying and like toxic friendship dynamics in the queer scene and how we can like hurt each other. Yeah, so I think it's the whole film is just one big missed connection until maybe the final moment of the film.
Totally.
Yeah.
And then a little bit of smartphones, just a little bit of smartphones.
There's one scene where she touches a smartphone.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Hi. Well, Luis said it beautifully, actually. But I would say these two characters, it's funny because all the films have the same set of two characters connection or disconnection between them. I think the disconnection in Of Hearts and Castle come from the previous experiences. The two characters, one is going through a breakup and the other one doesn't have a relationship with his father because he's gay. And because of this disconnection that they have with other people is what creating this connection that's happening in this film, this moment. Like without that disconnection, maybe this connection wouldn't be that powerful at this time. That's what I would say.
Gail, over to you.
Yeah, hi. Like Harel said, I think Harel said it quite well. I think the whole setup of our movie takes place during the peak of the coronavirus quarantine, and the whole idea of the movie is about two people trying to connect in a time of great great fear and people being disconnected from each other and from the world, and this idea of two people that meet in very unusual circumstances and are trying to get to know one another, and greater forces are separating them without giving too much away from the movie.
Yes, I agree with Gil.
Yeah.
Yes, and your team is playing it quite close to the vest. I'm excited for the other filmmakers here to go check out what exactly those greater forces are. It's quite a surprise as it plays out. Thank you all so much for answering that. And truthfully, we have time just really for one more question, everyone, to go through. And my question would be, this festival for us has a lot to do with resilience. We're coming, out of the pandemic, at least to some extent, in our home state of Salt Lake City, Utah, and we are really organizing around the idea of resilience that our queer community has been able to weather the storm and come back together at our festival this year. Do you find a note of hope in your films? And if so, what is it? And if not, why not?
Yeah, for Frankie, I think, this person is hitting rock bottom, even though I don't think that they necessarily know that that's what's happening at the moment. It's just more of kind of a cry for help. And by the end, Frankie gets to hear their name said out loud by their ex-partner and by all of the cisgender men in the room. And there's a sense of you can heal, you can move forward. And yeah, I hope that is something that people connect with, especially given, 2020 being what it was.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, maybe I would just echo that we start the film feeling a very deep divide along perceived gender lines. And by the end, I hope you leave by realizing like, oh, there is a shared humanity and a need to be seen in a room filled with people that you would assume wouldn't connect over anything.
Yeah, such a growth and understanding there, 100%.
In Talk Soon, there's a moment in the film in which the two characters do like spend this night together, and we get this like glimmer of that feeling that they were kind of like seeking, or that, nostalgia, that thing that they wanted to get back to. But it's like gone within a split second because the character Sasha realizes that the other character Ray has to leave. So it's all going back to kind of what it was when Ray arrived, and they were kind of like in that dance of awkwardness and like trying to get back to this space. But then at the end, there's this small moment where I think Sasha like offers something to Ray, and And yeah, I think that is in essence like leaving the viewer hopefully with some sense of hopefulness for these characters, regardless of what their relationship ends up being in the future.
Yeah, exactly. Ambiguous, but hopeful. Absolutely.
Yeah, for voicemail, it's kind of interesting because that you said hope, because I felt like the only dialogue in our film is a poem by Alex Simon. And when I got that poem, it was like the whole poem is like a question of like, is there hope for us? And I feel like, which Havan read so beautifully, but it was like, I felt like the whole poem, like the whole film is like this question of like, is there hope for us? Will our relationship work? You know, is it worth kind of like coming into this with like our wounds open and, you know, like exposing ourselves to this? And yeah, I think what was so fun about like our little film was kind of like when we were shooting it, it was just kind of like that whole question just felt like it was in the air the whole time, you know, and me and Mike just were kind of exploring, you know, even with the camera, and like we didn't want to do like a lot of blocking or anything because we kind of wanted just to see like where the actors would find that, you know, that like question. So yeah, I feel like our film is a lot about like, you know, a hope for like a couple, but also like the individual resilience you kind of have to have with yourself when you're kind of like trying to figure out like, do I want to open up my heart again and do this, you know?
Totally.
No, I completely agree with what Ria said. Like, you know, you have this separated strength of these two characters, but then, you know, she showed like, you know, that there's this beauty in unity and like, you know, building or rebuilding. So, I mean, I would like to, I mean, at least from what I saw, I was like, oh, there's definitely hope and there's definitely like an optimism there. I mean, I don't know, unless Ria had like a director's cut after like, you know, we were on set. Like,
you're not told about, yeah.
But no, it definitely felt like, it definitely had that feel of an optimistic, like, and on hope and stuff.
I feel like Joey did such a brilliant job writing and capturing this story because it feels so reflective of like, I feel like we often like grip on to the thing that we like hope for, and we're like heavily attached to it, and we're like, I need that specific iteration, like I need it to look exactly like how I want it in so many realms of life, and it mostly doesn't do that or like turn out that way. So I feel like there is hope, but it's not how either of these characters maybe would have imagined it in their heads. I think that was beautifully written and captured.
Yeah, lovely.
Yeah, I'm gonna piggyback off of what Ria said. You know, we tried to capture resiliency through our camera work and kind of just figure it out once our two characters find each other again. And usually I like to plan everything, but this time we kind of just bounced. We worked around our actors, and through the color grade, we kind of played with cold colors in the beginning, and as the story progressed, there was a little warmth introduced at the very end.
Yeah, no, thanks for speaking to the technical elements. It was a great alley-oop there. Thanks for adding that in. Shay?
So yeah, in terms of hope, I think in Duet, there is very little hope left, which is interesting because like in a way, I, as a writer, I do like tragic ending, you know, aesthetically. But then after, you know, working on Duet, after seeing it for so many times, and also just like, by the way, that's a character who is a second lead in a feature story that I've been writing. And the reason of shooting Duet was for me to figure out who she is. So I can carry her back into feature writing, because that's a character that I don't identify with, but I know her so well. And the making of Duet, and seeing it, after seeing it overly, I realized that, you know, like sometimes in real life you cannot change a person, but in writing you can't change a character's. So what's happening with Duet in terms of resilience is really of like bringing it back to writing, I realized that in a featureless story, I'll have a better story to offer, and I wanted to change her fate. So that's what the little movie has done to me personally.
Yeah, that's so interesting to learn more.
In our movie, the story gives a sense of hope about the Corona times at the beginning, and then by the end, it completely destroys every sense of hope. But I think that in the bigger picture, the way that we decided to look about the Corona in this movie is to just make fun of it and laugh about it. And I think that while we created this movie and had the ability to create something and to laugh about these crazy times, by doing it, this gave us some sense of hope about what is about to happen.
Absolutely. The films themselves, acts of resilience in a year like this one. Absolutely. Luis?
Yeah, I think that our film is filled with hope. I think it's really about I mean, in different ways, the characters are experiencing a kind of stuckness, and their meeting can be the catalyst for them to become a little bit less stuck. And that, to me, that just has a sense of hope to it as well. What comes next is still unknown, and that can be, of course, uncertainty is scary in any capacity, but yeah, I'd say that there is that. I just really like that they kind of come together, and there's a transformation that is the potential for transformation and change comes as a result of this. And to me, that's always hopeful and scary.
Both, yes. Tom?
Yeah, I think for me, I think that a lot of the relationships first of all, I feel like there's hope for Frede, the main character, that she will like grow into her own person and learn to like say no and stand up for herself. But I also was thinking, okay, hope, that I think there's some hope in how some relationships in the film, like the ex-girlfriend, she obviously kind of still loves her, but she's also walking away, and the sister is punishing her, but she also loves her at the same time. I think there's some hope for the complexities in relationships, like how someone can be like, it's a lot of bad feelings, but it's also good feelings, and it's kind of, she's navigating it and becoming her own person and growing up, all like learning how to be a person, kind of. I think there's hope in that. Yeah, but
Absolutely.
I don't necessarily think that narratives have to offer hope as a thing. But
Of course not. No.
In the end than she was in the beginning.
I have hope for her. I have hope for her. Absolutely.
Again. Yeah, I think Of Hearts and Castles is full of hope because, as Luis was saying, like these two characters are, they are broken in a way. They're this moment in time for them to meet is gonna, like make them feel there is hope about something. For example, for Marcus is right in the middle of the breakup. It's that moment that you are completely stuck, that you don't know what to do. You keep thinking with the other person, you know it's wrong, but you can't help it. When he meets this person who had another experience, in this case with his father, and understanding, like for Angel's father stopped talking to him 7 years ago because he's gay. Angel just accepted that, and he's okay, with that. That doesn't mean he's happy about it. I always like to say that, you can accept things in your life. That doesn't mean you want them to be that way. You just accept them and try not to let them affect you. But there's always that little thing, right? So I think that experience with him when he meets Marcus and tells him like, look, basically, I'm okay accepting my father, you could be okay accepting, you know, your situation. So it's all full of hope for him, and maybe it's gonna open something for Angel to maybe reach out to his father again in the future. We don't know. That's we don't know what's gonna happen later, but I think it's full of hope for both of them. And I also wanna say that with COVID, we shot this before COVID, before we even knew COVID was a thing. And there is a scene with a hug that Luis gave Marcus, a very warm, very nice hug. And everyone is very connected with a hug because that's the thing that we've been lacking all this time. And when people see the film and see that beautiful hug, I think is very powerful, and also have that hope, I believe.
I totally agree. Resonant in this moment, especially.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Totally.
Gil and team, take us home with your hopelessness, with your destruction of all hope.
Yeah, I totally stand by what Harel said before. I think that our movie has, if you see the movie and you just read simply into it, it doesn't offer much hope. More so, I think it has kind of like a dark humoristic tone to it. But like Harel said, I think that we made this movie a year ago, and everything was very uncertain, and we were confused and fearful. And I think that it was really important for us to make a movie that would look at our new reality with a smile. So even though it has some sort of dark tones to it, it was really important for us to make something that would make people laugh and think a little bit, and that's what we did. So maybe it's like a meta form of hope, but I would like to think that it's still humor is hope.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree with Gil and Harel. I think that by making this movie, it gives us a lot of hope to go out on the streets, do something people didn't do, like, you know, to shoot in the middle of the main square in Tel Aviv. And yeah, it was like feeling a bit alive. So I think that that is the feeling of the hope of making the movie and show it, and by showing it, making a statement that there's hope.
Absolutely. Well, thank you all so much. I'm completely filled up by all your hopefulness, and thank you for joining us not only today to talk a little bit more about your projects, but also for having us present your work at Damn These Heels. We're so proud to have all of you as part of the Misconnections program. And we can display.
Thank you.
Thank you all.